A woman swallowed a bug. Then her stomach started to make strange noises. What happens if food goes down the wrong pipe? It sounds like something out of a cartoon, but it can actually happen to any of us. And when it does, it's usually not very funny. First off, let's be clear about the anatomy. There are two pipes leading away from your mouth, one for air and one for food. They split off from the same tube pretty early on, so it's not exactly a complicated branching system. That means that if you're eating or drinking and some of it goes down the wrong pipe, you now have an air pocket in your stomach. This is unpleasant and will cause pain, especially if the stomach has to stretch to accommodate the air pocket as more food arrives. But the real danger comes after this, because now your stomach can't do its job of digesting food properly. The stomach uses acids to break down food. Acids need an alkaline substance called bicarbonate to neutralize them. When the stomach encounters food in the small intestine, it releases bicarbonate from the pancreas to neutralize the acid. But if you have air in your stomach, your body will think that there's food in your stomach that needs to be digested. So it'll start pumping out digestive acids without the usual protection of bicarbonate. Now you have a corrosive superacid in your stomach instead of the usual weak acid. If this were to happen occasionally, it wouldn't be too bad. Your stomach lining would get a little irritated, maybe even a bit inflamed, but it would heal quickly enough. However, if you keep swallowing air, then your stomach starts to behave like an entirely different organ. It gets so damaged that it starts to secrete mucus like your intestines do. Now your stomach is basically acting like a giant, constantly secreting slippery mucus instead of breaking down food. And what happens next depends on whether the wrong pipe is a temporary or permanent problem. In the short term, your body will try to protect itself by stopping you from making new stomach acid. This means no more digestion, but at least you won't be corroding yourself from the inside out. Eventually, though, your body will start to reabsorb parts of your stomach lining. It is kind of like when your body breaks down muscle tissue when you haven't eaten enough protein. Except in this case, it's breaking down the stomach lining because it's no longer needed. In fact, at this point, your stomach is no longer a useful organ at all. You are basically left with a useless sack of slippery mucus and your body doesn't know what to do with it. So it will reabsorb as much of the stomach as it can. The rest will become a bulge in your abdomen, a stomach that's been reduced to nothing more than skin, fat, and old waste. In the long term, this means your body can no longer digest acids, so it can't neutralize them either. Acidic foods like tomatoes and oranges could kill you. And it gets worse because without the pressure of a stomach full of food, the sphincter between your esophagus and stomach won't stay shut properly. So every time you swallow, food will come back up your esophagus, which is lined with tissue that isn't adapted to handle digestive acids. You've turned yourself into a permanent barfing machine. But why would someone swallow air in the first place? Well, sometimes it is part of a disorder where people literally cannot eat without taking in a bunch of air. Other times, it's part of a psychological disorder where the person has a compulsive need to gulp air. It's also a common side effect of gastric bypass surgery. In fact, 60% of patients who get this surgery experience a fair amount of swallowing air. Most of the time, this problem resolves itself in a few days or weeks. But if it doesn't, The doctors can use a special camera to look inside the patient's stomach and blow air into it. This will identify any blockages that might be trapping gas. Once those are cleared, the patient can swallow their air freely once again. So if you swallowed a bug, you should be okay. Just don't make a habit of it. If you learned something from this video, hit the like button and share this video with a friend. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button.